The reason you're struggling to win games right now in CFB 26 is because your defense keeps selling you. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 defenses that you need to be using to get more stops and win more games in college football. These are the setups that the top pro players are using right now and dominating with in tournaments. So you're absolutely not going to miss any of the blitzes or coverage that I have for you in this video. I will warn you though, if you skip out on any of them, it could be the reason you're still trash on defense here in CFB 26, and I wouldn't want that to happen for you. So let's jump right into it. All right, that first defense is nickel through 3 stack. It's one that no one's using right now, but if you start using it, you could be dominating. Let me show you why. All right, so if we come into nickel 3-3 stack right here, this is, I believe, from the 3-4 multiple and 4-3 multiple formations here. But what we're going to do is we're going to shift our linebackers to the right, all right? So we're going to shift our linebackers right. So that's D-pad right twice, then left stick to the right here. So you're going to shift those linebackers right. You're going to press RB right stick up to pass commit, especially if you believe they're passing the ball. Now, really what you want to do, RB, LB to QB contain, and then you're pretty much good to go. Now I would just put my user in a zone so that you can switch stick out of it. You can run man coverage behind this defense like I'm going to do right here, or you could just turn this into like a cover 2 defense very easily. All right, but pretty much all you're trying to do is get the attention of 71, the guard right here, and turn him outside, all right? So boom, take the snap, turn him outside, and what does that do? It allows for that linebacker to come in free. We understand how common base protection is here in this game, and so this blitz absolutely is going to annihilate base protection. Look at number 71, completely turned outside and just blocking nobody, because I turn him outside with my user by going out there and then lurking back up to the middle of the field. So it's kind of like a swoop motion, down, outside, and then up. Honestly, kind of like a clock, right? So you're just gonna again shift the shift the linebackers to the right, pass commit, QB contain, all right? And then you're gonna put your user in a zone assignment right here. I'll just put a cover 2 defense on the field, so probably just something like this. And so now we're gonna see it. It's gonna be the same thing. All right, boom, take it, turn him outside, and then you're able to see, once again, we're able to get that flying pressure right through the A-gap. The scariest pressure type here in this game is just A-gap pressure right through the middle. I mean, you getting the attention of this guard really makes it towards a 3-on-2 over here on this side, and that's what allows for us to come in completely free. Now, you're going to say, BLT, what if they block their halfback? Totally fine, because as we know, halfbacks routinely get punished in pass protection by these bigger, stronger linebackers and safeties. So we're gonna set it up the same way. Boom, boom, boom. You can run cover 2, or like I said, you can run man coverage, but drop that user in a zone. And the reason why you want to put your user in a zone is so that you can switch stick. But right here, they're gonna be in base protection again. This time they're gonna have the mic on that linebacker, and they're gonna be blocking their running back. We're gonna take the snap, so he's gonna step up. But look at that, where he's just gonna get thrown right to the ground. Not every time, but routinely, time and time again. So it's really like they didn't really block the running back, buys them an extra second or a second and a half of extra time, but really you still have that good user over the middle. You still take away their route concepts. They have a 6-on-5 advantage here, and you would never really guess just because the pressure is so fast. So that's nickel through stack linebacker blitz 0. One of the best blitzes here to start off with that you should start mixing in. All right, next I want to show you the defense that could be the defensive meta moving into the future months here in college football 26, and you need to hop on it now. Let me introduce you to nickel single mug. Alright, so if we come into nickel, we come into 2-4 single mug. Right? If you played the game at the beginning of the year, you know about this, but through some patches, some updates, it kind of fills it out a little bit here. But it's certainly back. Again, because of the prevalence of base protection, you should be stunting people every single play if they're going to use base protection, and they're not going to counter your blitz. So you're going to see right here, base protection. All you need to do, D-pad left, left stick up to spread that defensive line, pass commit the defense by pressing RB, right stick up like I told you earlier for the other blitz. Always do that when you think you're passing. It'll make your pass rush, your blitzes better, but you're going to stand right here over the center, and boom, you're just going to try to get his attention momentarily, and so then you're going to allow for a lot of the time your guys to come in free. Credit to the offensive line right there. They did a pretty good job of picking that up, but you're just going to see it time and time again how they're going to struggle pretty badly against this particular stunt. Boom, get his attention, and then you're able to see that time both of them come in free, where the center, normally the center blocks one of them, but that just leaves the other one free. That time, I mean, he's just too slow. But you see how important it is for your user to get his attention. That's what allowed both of these guys to come in free, because he's looking directly at me instead of trying to focus on these two guys looping through. They're going to loop through, and both of them normally should. And then he can normally only block one of them, which obviously would allow for the other one to come in free. Again, this is only a 4-man rush, and you're going to get quick pressure versus most blitzes in this game. You're going to need to send 5 or 6 people to get pressure, but this is a great way to get, quick pressure on the quarterback without even blitzing them. And so really another great advantage is, right, I talk about pocket presence so much in this game, right? And so if they have good pocket, they're trying to step up. They're just eventually just going to step right into your rusher, or your A-gap rushers, right, who are looping around your stunters. And so that's going to be very easy for you on defense, because you're going to be able to collapse the pocket very quickly, or you're just going to get really quick pressure, right? So we even have them block their running back right here. Running back's going to have a tough time in pass protection, as we've talked about. So you're going to see it right there where Jam Miller just gets thrown to the ground, pushed into the quarterback very, very quickly. So it's like even when they block the running back, they're still going to have significant challenges here in pass protection. But really, I'm going to always be the one to give you guys the counter to this so that you can know how to defend their counter. But what they're going to do is they're going to realize that you're stunting them, and they're immediately just going to start rolling out. Now, here's the thing about this particular, he breaks a sack, but here's the thing about this particular stunt. Because guys are coming in free, even when they try to roll out, like right there, there's times where if you have fast defensive linemen, they'll just go hawk the quarterback down immediately. So sometimes them trying to just take the snap and roll out won't matter because your guy's coming in free. But understand that there's no contain over there. So if that guy doesn't come in free and the quarterback can roll out, he has just a free runway out there because your defensive end on the right side is looping inside. He's not containing. So the way to solve that is to come into the left Texas 2-man where it's only a 2-man stunt. You're only going to be stunting them off of the left side here, which can still work very well and get quick pressure, but now you're going to be able to contain them off of that right side, their handedness for the quarterback. Boom, and you're going to see how it's the same thing where you still have a chance to get that singular pressure, right, that singular stunt loop off of that left side, but now we look at the other side. Look at this man right here where he's in a contain. The quarterback would never be able to escape this, even if he tried to roll out. So really that's the best way to utilize single mug here. Every single play, you pretty much, if you're going to be running this formation, you want to either be Texas 2-man, Texas 4-man, right? You start in the Texas 4-man. If they start catching on, rolling out, blocking the stunt, then that's when you probably just switch to the 2-man so that you're not really allowing them to just roll out on you, and you're still getting the best of both worlds with stunting and pressure. Alright, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, the top 5 defenses in CFB 26, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one breaking down tips and tricks on college football 26 every single day for you guys, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my free guide to dominate on defense here in college football 26, make sure you go down below in the comment section, comment the word free, I'll send it over to you. Let's jump right back into the video. Alright, next I want to show you a super toxic defense that's going to allow you to get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry and intimidate the offensive line. Let me show you what it is. Alright, so if we come into 4-3 even 6-1, we're going to be calling Sam Will blitz, alright? And so really what you're looking for with this is to just overload blitz them. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to shift our D-line to the left here, and we're going to come stand in this gap right here, right over the center. We're going to blitz our user, and then we're going to drop our outside linebacker right here and do a curl flat assignment. Now, essentially, you're just going to, you're still going to be blitzing 6 people, but you're going to be blitzing 4 of them off of the left side here, where the offensive line is only going to have 3 people on that side. So again, you're going to stand right here about 2 yards over that center, over his left shoulder here. You're going to take the snap. They're going to take the snap. You're immediately pressing D-pad to the right to D-pad switch stick onto that linebacker, right? That outside linebacker. You're going to be able to defend anything breaking out here to the flat quickly like Jam Miller on this wheel. You're able to take it, and then you're able to see, this is the key. Because you're standing in the correct spot with your user and you're blitzing your user, and he's just going to get the attention of this center right here. That's going to allow this man to come in completely free off the edge, and then you just have a, like we talked about, the 4-on-3 advantage over here, right? They're able to pick it up off this side perfectly fine, but you're just blitzing one more on that side that they can possibly block Also, this is 6-on-5, but you're creating a great advantage, for yourself. So you are blitzing one more than they're blocking, so you would expect to come in free, but it's like, we know that's not always the case, right? There's some 6-man rushes that somehow get blocked even with 5 people, but you're really just making sure your alignment on defense is exactly how it should be, and it's optimal to allow for a guy to come in free. But obviously, what if they make it 6-on-6, right? Because this look is super intimidating for an offense. You always have to worry about them blitzing from 6-1 just because they have more guys over your offensive line than you have blockers, and so if they blitz all their guys, you expect them to come in free. Right, so what if they block their running back to kind of counter that, right? That's good because now there's no one breaking out to the flat probably that's unaccounted for, but you're still going to stand in the same spot, right? You're going to immediately press D-pad to the right, but now you're going to see how, that's what I'm talking about, where the running back, that guy's flying in free off of that left side. So he's going to be able to get the quarterback down super fast, and Jam Miller, you see how he turned his head in the wrong direction, and now he's just late getting over there, and honestly, he's honestly kind of a scary cat right here because he doesn't even go block this guy. He blocks my user, right? I start to play on this guy D-pad switching, and you also notice how I'm D-pad switching. Like I'm already switched before the quarterback even has the ball. So you're essentially, like I said, getting the best of both worlds where you're blitzing your user, but you're really starting to play on someone else. So, I mean, it's just an insane advantage that the D-pad switch it gives you. But before Ty Simpson even has the ball, you see I'm already switched over here on the right side. So he blitzes, my original user blitzes, Jam Miller decides he wants to block him instead, and so that allows for this guy to come in completely free off the edge. So 4-3 even 6-1, a super intimidating pressure look, a super intimidating defense, but you have to make sure that you set it up in that way to really make sure that that pressure, you get that pressure every time off of that left side, regardless if they block their running back or they don't. Again, you can put zone coverage on the field, but honestly, the pressure from this defense is so fast that if you just want to run man coverage, defend for a few seconds, you're going to be getting sacks time and time again. All right, before I jump to those final 2 defenses, I wanted to again remind you to go down below and hit that subscribe button. You're absolutely not going to miss out on any of the defensive tips and tricks and tutorials that I have for you for the rest of the year here in CFP 26 and beyond. So what are you doing? Go down below, hit that subscribe button. But let's jump to the final 2 defenses. All right, and this next defense is a super great defense that is very popular in Madden, but not enough people are running it here in college football. Let me introduce you to Nickel 3-3 Cub. Alright, so 3-3 Cub, if we come into Mike Blitz 0 right here, you're gonna get the same theme. It's a lot of the same concepts here in this game that are really great on defense, but you're giving them from different alignments and different looks, right? We talk about on offense calling similar route concepts, really great plays from a whole bunch of different formations. The defense never knows what you're doing. It's the same thing here on defense. We're overload blitzing them, guys. We're gonna shift our defensive line to the left. We're gonna drop our outside linebacker into a curl flat. We're gonna pass commit our defense, all right? And so we're going to stand 2 yards over the center, right, over his left shoulder, and we're pressing the D-pad to the right. You start to pick up on the same types of things, and it becomes a lot easier for you to set the adjustments up and do it a lot faster. So again, boom, immediately press D-pad to the right, and now you're going to see that quick pressure. And you still have that running back manned up actually from this formation. So it's honestly pretty similar to 3-3 stack where you can run zone coverage from this. You can set it up like a cover 2, put that man in a curl flat, make sure you're standing in the correct spot so you can really get that overload pressure, but pass commit the defense, boom, immediately press that D-pad, and now you're going to see it how it's the same thing. We get a sack fumble. Unfortunately, we're not able to recover the ball, but actually standing in the right spot is really the most important thing. I'm glad you guys are seeing this because obviously, when I was doing it from 6-1, it was, working every time. But here, it's like, okay, now my guy's running into the guard, right? The guard sliding over, and so that's allowing for them to pick this up. Now, everyone's still in a one-on-one. It's still 5-on-5, and so, you're still going to be able to get pretty quick routine pressure, but really, you're trying to make sure that that pressure, or this man right here, loss in your user is engaging with the center. That's the most important thing to create the 4-on-3. If he engages with the guard 77, it's a 4-on-4, and they're going to be able to pick that up. So again, you're going to drop that man into a curl flat now, and you just have to practice like standing in the right spot so you can really see how he's going to who he's going to run into. So we're going to stand right here this time, immediately press D-pad right. Unfortunately, he's going to engage with that man. But obviously, I've talked about this in many other defensive breakdowns advanced defensive tutorials, defensive ebooks. It's like, it's really just a matter of can you get your guy to go to the right spot. Because you're switching off of him, right, you don't have full control over where he's going. Right, so if you really wanted to get that control, you could turbo engage. So you could stand like right here, right over the center, press D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down to turbo engage with him, and now you're just gonna immediately get onto him, and so that's gonna allow for one of those guys to come in free. I would still recommend the D-pad switch stick version, just because you're back into coverage immediately on that right side. But it just kind of depends on how the game's going. If you're consistently seeing that your man's not running into the right guy, then eventually you just have to make the correct adjustment, right? So maybe I try standing right here, boom, he just keeps running into that other man, which is unfortunate. But it's still a great defense because you're still going to get very quick, very routine pressure, and you're still back into coverage immediately. Something that you don't ever see from other defenses is your ability to get back into coverage. But that's why it's important to have the same concept, right, from a lot of different defenses, because this is the same exact pretty much concept in defense from 6-1, but you're going from a different alignment, which really means that if you were struggling to set this variation up, right, which again, it's not going to be every time that you're going to struggle. Sometimes he will actually just run right into this center, create the 4-on-3, and we're going to be good. But if he's not, and you're seeing he's not over and over again, probably just switch over to 6-1 and get that, pressure that way. But again, you can have full versatility to run zone coverage behind this defense if you'd like, but really 6-1, I mean, just not 6-1, 3-3 Cub, one of the best overload pressures here in the game as well. All right, this last defense is one of the craziest zone blitzes in the game. If you love running zone coverage, this is going to be one of the best blitzes to get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry to pair with your sticky coverage. And I think on the graphic, I think I just had 3-3 odd. This formation in this game is called 3-3 mint, just to be clear for all of you guys. So again, making sure you have the right settings, safety depth and close width unpinched. If you can, right, if they have really fast receivers, you probably just want to back those guys up. But we're going to come to linebacker cross 3 show too, all right? And so really what we're going to do, we're going to user the 3-rec hook defender, all right? You're going to find your 3-rec hook, you're going to user him, but you're going to shift your linebackers to the right. So now it's going to look something like this. You're going to pass commit your defense, and if you want, you can put hard flats in the field, but really this is going to be fantastic, again, like I said, against base protection, because this time you don't even have to stand anywhere near the offensive line. You can literally be all the way back here. Sometimes I wouldn't even move before the snap. I don't want the offense to really know where I'm starting to play on. That's a huge thing, being able to disguise where your user is. But you're just going to see when they take the snap, it's going to be very, very easy for us to just walk right in that backfield and get that quarterback on the ground in a hurry, simply because we're calling a blitz that's going to not only eliminate, did I say base protection? I really think I'm in empty protection is what this is going to annihilate, right? So if they're going to, because I showed you blitzes earlier that are going to annihilate base protection, so base or empty are the two options that they have. So really now when they switch to empty protection, this is going to do a great job of that, because now what you're going to see, so it was empty protection, right? So it's like, empty protection is going to struggle against this, because now what's going to happen is this guard right here is going to turn outside. It's kind of like what we saw from Stack. This guard turns outside, and then this is what allows for this man to just walk in free. They just don't have any communication. This is, again, only going to be, a 5-man? Yeah, only a 5-man, and then you're able to take away the flat. You're going to be able to defend the seam because your user's here. Then you're able to defend this seam as well. And so you pretty much just have to lurk over the middle of the field. You don't have to even worry about getting the attention of the offensive line or any of that stuff. So this is great. So really what I would do is start the game calling the blitzes that work against base protection, just because those are the ones that are going to work the most. And then if they start blocking those, which you know that they're in empty protection, if they start blocking the Texas 4-man stunt or the blitz from Stack. So then you move into this particular blitz. If you have it in like a custom playbook or you just have it in your defense, now you move into this blitz where they're going to to call empty protection, and you know they're calling empty protection because they were blocking your other blitz. So now you throw this at them, and now you're just going to get a guy to come in free. Also, this guy has quick jump, I believe, number 0. So he's going to get off the line of scrimmage just a little bit faster than a regular linebacker. And he also has the ability that prevents QBs from breaking sacks. I forgot what it's called here in this game. But he has, this guy in particular, has that ability. So those are probably the 2 best that you want to have, especially if you're playing cut, extenders, a meta, right? All these different abilities. And so you're just going to be able to go get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. And it's going to be pretty easy and pretty routine for you. So again, a great blitz against base protection, but as always, empty protection. But as always, we need to talk about if they block their running back. So they're going to use empty protection, but they're going to block their running back. You see the Mike icon is over the top of that linebacker right here. So they should just let him come in free. And you just see how Jam Miller steps up to block the guy. He wants no parts of it. Not to say that's going to happen every time for you, but it's like you're just able to see how even when blocking their running back is not an answer to blocking blitzes. If a man comes in free, blocking the running back isn't going to solve their problems, guys, because sometimes he just whiffs like this. Other times he just gets ran through time and time again. So it's a great blitz. You guys got to start utilizing against empty protection. And really, you would know they're an empty if they start blocking your blitzes that were against base protection. And so you're just going to be able to just run right in free, right through that A-gap from linebacker across 3 show 2 and really start dominating. But that's another great blitz here from 3-3 man. All right, so if you enjoyed that breakdown of the top 5 defenses you need to start using here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks and tutorials every single day, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of the content I have. But if you want my free guides dominating on defense here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below in the comment section, comment the word free. I'll send it right over to you. And if you also want to see the best offense I have here in College Football 26, check out this video where I run the Oregon State playbook. I'll see you over there. Peace.